on your time zone. And this is something that Jennifer Berryhill came up with, and want her to kind of take the reins here and kind of go around too. And I want to introduce everybody. I don't know if you want to do the introductions, but just real quick, I'll at least say everybody's name. So Jen Berryhill, who came up with this great idea. Yukia, Azorah, Sandara, I hope I said that right. It's really wonderful to meet you.
Yukia.
Yukia.
Yes.
Wonderful. And I haven't really been exposed to you much in the past. I really look forward to getting to know you. And then Stella Fairbairn, who we recently did something together, and I'm getting to know your work, and it's incredible. And of course, Soma ARah, and we've done quite a bit together, Pleiadian Starseed. And my dear friend, Dr. Sharnael Wolverton, who is an author and radio host, and just there's so many things more that I can say about each of these women, but I want to hand it over to you, and if everybody wants to say a few words about themselves.
Well, just landing in this really amazing and beautiful space with all of you gorgeous galactic goddesses. My heart is just beaming to be here today with all of you. Thank you, Laura. My name is Jen Berryhill, and I live in Denver, Colorado. And just a quick background about me. I have had the great honor of working with a beautiful person named Chief Golden Light Eagle. And I've been working with his teachings for the last about 11 years, and also working with his star altar and the star altar of humanity, working with the universal and spiritual laws of creation. And I started doing a Galactic Goddess Zoom new moon meeting a year ago, and working with the moon influences each month for that year. And today actually starts a new year for the Earth Star calendar walk. So today is the first new moon of the new calendar. And I was contacted by Soma kind of out of the blue, because she was contacted by Chief Golden Light Eagle. He recently passed back in July, but he's making his visits around to many of us. And so he connected Soma and I, and through our sharing that day, you know, it just came to light that we could do so much more together when we can gather and do these types of events as a collective. And so the idea was spawned to do the next Galactic Goddess meeting gathering together here. And so today is the kickoff of the 2022 Earth Star calendar. We're in the new moon and Stargate of purity. It's the amazing solar eclipse. And so I just want to say that much right now. my computer keeps dinging at me for some reason, and I don't know how to stop it. So I apologize if you keep hearing this. So I will pass it off to Soma.
Thank you, Jenny. It's yeah, it feels very powerful what we're doing here right now tonight, and it's 7 p.m. UK time, well, it's 7:20 now, but yeah, it's really great to connect in with all of you. And yeah, it's funny how spirit can sometimes connect us, because I reached out to you, and around the same time I can't remember if Eagle stepped in first before we connected, but it was around the same time. And so I'll just give a little bit of intro about myself. I'm a channel for the Pleiadians, and have been working with spirit from a very young age, from a child, probably since I was in the cot, and then had an experience with Jesus when I was 12, where I was on the verge of committing suicide, and had an out-of-body experience with him for about 3 or 4 hours that really changed my whole perspective. And I was also channeling the Pleiadians as a child, but I didn't realize it was the Pleiadians. I just thought it was my guides. I didn't realize until 2009, when I began doing shamanic courses in Ireland. And then things really, I mean, I came in back to front with being very ungrounded and aware of a lot of the spiritual stuff. So I've had a back to front story. But yeah, connected to a lot of energies at a very young age through trauma. And so I think I'll just leave it there.
Well, it's really good to see you. And
good to see you too, Laura. It's good to see everyone.
It's great to all gather. And yeah, I guess we can continue to go around, and I'll share when everybody else goes. So Yukia,
Hi.
tell us about yourself.
So, you know, I'm a voice alchemist and a visionary artist and an ascension mentor. I've awakened when I was 6 with the experience of the star elders. You know, when I basically lost my breath, and my mother found me in the corridor. So I had to be in oxygen during 3 days. During those 3 days, the luminous beings, the sun people, like I called them at the time, basically, you know, circled around, and there were quite a lot of implanting that took place during that time, you know, in order to monitor the experience in the earth plane, so you know, after that experience of 3 days, you know, I was a different person. You know, as a child, I could read you know, I was extremely telepathic, and I had a lot of understanding from my mother, especially because I come from a lineage of mediums. So, but I was asked to shut it down because many of them had ended up in asylums and speaking in tongues and, you know, labeled epileptic and etc. And it was at the age of 27, basically, that you know, I became very ill, and through a series of illnesses, I awoke. I accepted my gifts and to share my gifts, and it was a trade-off to the you know, sharing the energy with the world, sharing the gifts, and allowing the voice to be spoken. And so you know, the healing took place very, very quickly without any medical intervention, and there were very serious illnesses. So as a result of that, I was being prepared for the walk-in. The walk-in came in in 2002. A new frequency, a new vibration. Originally was of Pleiadian origin. That was my birth one, and then Arcturian and Venusian origins. So a braided soul, and with that came a lot of gifts. The voice, the sonic vibrations, the speaking in tongues, obviously the language of light, many languages from the earth, including, and then the decoding of the language of light, which took 2.5 years basically to be installed. So there was a transition within the walk-in between 6 years. It's a transition, an adjustment, an alignment, a lot of inner work that needed to take place as I walked the earth and did a lot of work for 15, 16 years in sacred sites, collecting the wisdom of the indigenous people, and also sharing the wisdom that was inside the vessel. You know, during that time, I did, you know, I started doing my mentoring work and you know, with groups in sacred sites all over the world. You know, I've been traveling for 16 years, and only stopped 4 years ago when the embodiment took place. So everyone disappeared, all my guidance, all my team, and it was just me. So the guardians, I call them the guardians, which are the sun people, then returned, in full blast and to do the next assignments. And so I'm very happy to be here and sharing with all of you.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Stellar, tell us more about yourself.
Good evening, and I'm humbled and honoured to be here with you all, and Laura again, and Soma again, darling. And lovely to meet 3 new faces. Yukia, I know of your work, and a lot of what you were saying there echoed my own journey. So what am I today? It's like it keeps changing, right? Our roles and everything that we're doing, we're very much in the flow. But historically, if you like, I've been a sound channel for the Mother Arc frequency coming to the Earth. So I sing in galactic codexes. I bring through star languages, over 800 star languages right now to the Earth. I'm in a beloved Hieros Gammas union, so we're very busy, as you can imagine, working with the grids, bridging the 3D, the 5D, the 7D, and up to 10D right now. A lot of us here, I'm sure, are carrying the Gaia Sophia consciousness, the Sophianic wisdom of the future timeline, and we're coming back in time to all be ascension specialists for this very important time on the Earth. So I'm not going to go into too much about that, but yeah, I think we're all echoing that frequency. So it's lovely to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, that's so awesome. And that's definitely what we're gathering in just a similarity or something that we really want to illuminate to help it awaken within all individuals, because it's a divine blueprint that will absolutely help us to deprogram, to heal, to be more shielded and co-creative. The override frequency that can overcome a lot of what we're seeing. So Dr. Sharnael, tell us more about yourself. And Jen, take over anytime. I know we're kind of both co-hosting. So.
Oh, wait, hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Awesome. First of all, thank you for having me. It's so cool to be with you guys. And I'm kind of like everyone else here. I'm just in process and very much about science and God and consciousness, but number one, truth and love. And so, a little bit of my background, my dad was military. And so I grew up traveling quite a bit. I was actually part of the Montauk Project from 73 to 76. That, of course, has all of its side effects and or benefits. And, so I've just been unpacking even now what that means for right now and how to use what those things are. I've had contact off and on for many years. When you mentioned, one of you mentioned the luminaries, I choose to know, but yeah, these iridescent two beings that have come to me to tell me, take this job, you're pregnant. Every pregnancy they came to tell me before any doctor. I've had a healing, an instant healing through them. So a lot of similarities with what I'm hearing here, and just understanding the biofield, the code that's in the field. I've been able to see the code in the field. I'm also one who listens and can hear. So if you say something, I know if it's true or not, like a lie detector. And also you could tell, like, even with health issues at times where someone's out on a physical level. I'm a naturopathic doctor, so I have years of medical and that kind of science geeky side, but I'm also I have 20 years of service or ministry, conference speaker, and just teaching some of the things that I have been taught through these experiences, because sometimes, as you guys all know, and everyone watching, when you do have that contact, or there's a Jesus encounter, which I had it for. Also, someone else sounded like they had it. I think Soma said she had one too. So there's coding with all of this, and there's coding and what's going on with this eclipse and the changes in the earth. And we are all here, just going through the code and filtering and finding truth within all that and adjusting as things change. And for me, I feel like my service on the earth right now is to help as many people remember who they are in this season of what we're doing now, because each of us are completely diverse, and it's not important for you to be like someone else. This is the time where we need to not only figure out who we are, but then actually be and walk out and live God in action through our lives here, so we can be who we're supposed to be and make the world shift and according to what God would love and shoots for, hopes for. So I feel like we're in this tipping point right now with new beliefs and things uncovering and people awakening, and I'm just super excited to be with all you guys. I'll have to send you all my book too. I have 5 books, and this one has probably the most information about simple formulas, literal formulas on how to get out of patterns that you may have been stuck in. And I'll have to get with y'all later and send it to you. But just thank you. So cool meeting new people, and it's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, awesome. So I'll just share a few words about myself. My name's Laura Eisenhower. My website's cosmicgaia.org. You can read a little bit more about me there. I've been a public speaker for about a decade or so. And I first became public when I was telling the story about my recruitment to go off planet in 2010. And so there was definitely a lot to share there, and hidden aspects of Eisenhower's administration, which I still talk about, and how it also relates to Mars colonies and secret space programs. But my real passion, and what mostly comes up in my presentations, has to do with our DNA, our potential as humans in this particular window especially. And we are actually right in the heart of one of the most important alignments right now, which I definitely am going to share more about. But yeah, it really has to do with this ascension window period, based in us recognizing that we're the shift. This is about letting go of the old paradigm and really, really embracing our authenticity, our truth frequency, and understanding that true oneness is diversity and harmony, and our differences are a blessing. We have to really, really look at all these different assaults and attacks that seek to conquer and divide us, because to me, the most dangerous thing is the mind control. Once we get a grip on the mind, everything follows. Everything can heal, and we can neutralize and nullify dark weaponry and these energy signatures that are put in reversal codes that digress us as humans. We do not have to go that route. It's time to be empowered. So a lot of my presentations are geared towards, helping to remind people of that. And all that we lost in the school systems. We've been exposed to, dead sciences. We haven't really learned about our greater potential, and all these limitations we need to break down. And building community is hugely important, and to do whatever work we need to do to clear ancestral patterns, any kind of programmings, any kind of tactics that have been used to create division and conflict. And Jen had mentioned Chief Golden Light Eagle, and I just want to just say something on behalf of my time with Star Knowledge Conference and getting to know Chief Golden Light Eagle and Jen's experiences, she's just was really just an amazing force putting together these incredible conferences, and you guys were both so close, and I just definitely feel him with us, and it's awesome that he came through to you, Soma, and that we're bringing his energy and presence in because he's here. And yeah, so I'll just kind of leave it at that. I got some books coming out and some big projects that are going to launch soon, and I look forward to that. I look forward to it, but as we know, sometimes this work it's like, oh man, it takes a lot to kind of prepare for the way this kind of sits with people that might not be used to it. But it's all about being a part of a greater conversation. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Let's just walk in our truth and walk hand in hand and with mutual love and respect. So I'll leave it at that. Jen, do you want to kind of take over?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. I was getting some dings and stuff going on my computer, and I was, finally feel like I'm landing in this beautiful space really, truly, fully now. And so, my love and passion is ceremony. And when I first met Chief, that was the thing that really helped me feel like I was really connecting more fully to my own personal mission. And so I've been working in ceremony, and I also, like, a big passion of mine is working with women and empowering people to fully, you know, take hold of their passion and mission and carry it forward in this lifetime, because we have a big job to do, and the time of playing small and holding back is done. Like, we all have to level up. And so that's the challenge I've given to myself, and part of what is happening today with launching this next calendar system, and being able to share a little bit about this. So really the focused intention for today is to have this amazing roundtable to talk more about the energies that we're in right now, being this solar eclipse and this new moon energy, and also just tying it into what we're seeing in the world, and how this experience is playing out for us, and sort of how we can use our tools to create this next level of ascension. So this space will be dedicated to kind of just, exploring what we're working in right now. I'm going to bring in some teachings that work with this moon cycle right now. And then, we'll be in this like really bold place of declaring our sovereignty, so that we can really amplify the energy of free will on this planet. It's so important right now to have that declaration of sovereignty. And, to work with these influences also to activate our own DNA, and, just share this amazing initiation time. So if it's okay with you, I would love to share a little bit about the Stargate of Purity, and just a little bit about the eclipse. And then hopefully, because what's so beautiful when we do these collaborative roundtables is just, it spawns a theme, and then like starts to fire everybody off to add to it. And so with your blessing, I would just like to share that this moon cycle is the start of something really putting us into the we're crossing into a bigger element of the age of Aquarius. Like, we're moving out of the Piscean influences and energies, and really stepping more fully into the Aquarian essence. And so we're really starting to see more and more women finding their voice, finding their truth, and wanting to step up. And so I'm excited. And so the Stargate of Purity it's the first dimensional influence that comes in when we start our calendar walk with the new moon just before the winter solstice. So this is the first dimensional influence, we call it, this moon. And it's the moon of the buffalo, and it's the Stargate of Purity. And when I'm saying Stargate, this has to do with, it's like a key, it's like a virtue. And the key and the virtue is purity. And so the buffalo, they work with the spiritual protection of family. So we're always in the presence of family. We've got our blood family, we've got the family of all of the nature around us, the trees, the stones, the animals, everything that lives around us. And then we also have spiritual family. And so purity, it really has to do with, we need to achieve purity because it's how spirit moves through and with us. Under the laws of attraction, we attract what we are, and we attract the energy of everything around us. We attract anything that carries that same vibration. And so spirit has a really, really high vibration. And in order for us to communicate with spirit, we need to really work on eliminating those things that kind of lower our vibration. Things like anger, things like jealousy, racism, discrimination, anything that keeps our spirit down to a minimum. And, we all have people that we come into contact with that we feel really uncomfortable around. We don't care to spend time with certain people because of their vibration. Likewise, we have people that are in our lives that we fully resonate with and we love being around them. This is that law of attraction, but spirit works the same way. So it's as above, so below. So the more we can heighten our own vibration, the more access we have to a stronger connection with spirit. So really it's about, being in the purity within your heart, your mind, and your body and your spirit. And so the Buffalo Nation, they teach us about spiritual discernment. And, it's like prayer is the key to having the access to bringing our vibration up. And, it's calling in that inner wisdom, the inner desires into the full unfoldment. And this is a teaching from the star teachings. And it says, eclipsing the self so that the eternal self may reign. Prayer is the unfoldment of the Sacred Heart, and the Sacred Heart taking command of the whole being. This is the victory of love. And prayer is the most powerful force in the universe concerning spiritual protection. It's digging deep within and finding the strength of spirit and shining that out. It unfolds our DNA and is the true step upon the path of life. And prayer is putting love in action through thought, deed, energy, and consciousness. So during this moon cycle, there are 13 moons and 13 tests and 13 gates and 13 star realm DNA activations. And within our body, all of our bones, they all have connection to the star realms. We have 47 star realms that are really make up who we are on our DNA and energetic and physical level. And so starting in the first dimension, the DNA activation that comes in is with Mother Earth. We're starting here with Mother Earth. And it's our big toe that is our DNA activation this month, because our big toe, it literally is the cave into the heart of Mother Earth. And so this also, because there's that meridian within our big toe that connects to the pineal and pituitary gland, they want us to put our feet on the earth, be barefoot and walk with Mother Earth, feel that connection, get back in touch with that natural family again, so that we can reattune to the natural ways of life, the natural law. And so, placing our devotion and the test this month is sincerity and devotion to your spiritual path. And, this is such a great time to make that declaration of, being more in contact with Mother Earth, putting our feet on the ground, being in connection with each other, being in connection with our family that we resonate with, because we're all anchoring in light together, and we're all opening doors and unlocking these pieces that we all connect together to make this one big, beautiful family. And so I kind of went on a big ramble, but that is a little bit of the gist of what the energy of this moon cycle is. And it is working with the symbol, the spiritual protection of family. And so I just, I wanted to really highlight that energy of the buffalo, because they bring us the purity. They used to walk this land here in Turtle Island, by the millions and millions and millions, and they were almost brought to extinction through, just being slaughtered and taken away. And it seems so symbolic, almost a parallel with what I see is an attempt of what's going on humanity right now. And I think that if we can all work together with this idea and these influences, we can kind of resurrect the beautiful energy of natural life and have that strength of heart to do this work together. So I will leave it there. Whoever wants to jump in next, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jen. That was awesome. Well, I have just a few words just about this cycle, this moon cycle, this particular eclipse energy that I'll just share. As of November 30th, we've been connecting to the Ophiuchus energies, and the Ophiuchus energies last until December 17th. There's going to be a really powerful new full moon just before that. And Ophiuchus is a sign, the 13th sign that the sun started to move through in 2010. And it actually is ruled by the ether. And the ether energy is an element that we don't really see in the zodiac. We've seen earth, air, fire, water. Well, what about ether? So this is creating very, very necessary corrections. It's allowing us to purify in ways that might have been more challenging in the past. And basically the energy of Ophiuchus really connects us with the quintessence and the divine mother, and the anchoring of this energy back into the core sun of the earth, and how it activates the gateways, our DNA, our galactic chakras, and everything like that. So it's really powerful, because this purifies our DNA. I mean, the earth responds to us. So if we're really able to bring this in and really breathe it in and allow it to permeate through our cells and our organs, our nervous system, and just like really just the energy circulation of being grounded and also expanded, and like, Jen was saying, walking with the earth, walking barefoot, the kind of transformations and changes that we can experience in this particular window are really incredible. And it's not that it just ends there, but it's very much peaking right now. And I'll just read a few properties of Ophiuchus, and then we'll pass it along. So the themes that are connected with Ophiuchus are unification and wound healing. And there's a link between Ophiuchus and the asteroid Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And so for us to really access this divine fire, water, ether energy, it's important for us to be able to be transparent with our wounds. A lot of it's going to be coming to the surface. Some of it might take us a little bit off guard, like, didn't I already heal this? I mean, why is this coming back? But it's a real deep purging. So it's going to go into places that we might not have recognized are still holding on to certain patternings or programs, as there's a lot of plutonic transformative energies as well. Pluto is all about death, rebirth, alchemy, transformation. And this next cycle has to do with the nodal axis holding Scorpio as the south node, Taurus as the north node. And that shift is taking place around December 21st, 22nd. So that will really help us to continue to fall back on the foundation of being able to alchemize, transform things, and integrate the energies of Taurus, which is an earth sign ruled by Venus. Has to do with self-worth, abundance, and what we value. We're not all going to value or prioritize the same things, but we can clear out what doesn't serve us so that we can get to the true priorities coming from our soul and our higher self, and invite it in fully to our physical life on a grounded level, so it can begin to change our lifestyle accordingly, so that our lifestyle reflects back to us our spiritual path, our spiritual truth, and our soul essence, which to me is what ascension is all about, moving beyond the personality matrix and embracing a much, much larger picture. So this is all about creatrix connectivity, the pure, transparent, crystalline light, divine mother, and the cleansing power of cosmic love, which is capable of recoding the DNA. And we can absolutely consciously participate in the recoding of our DNA. And the whole idea of epigenetics is a part of that, where our belief systems and what we are holding as an intention and a creative imagination sort of connection to how we are going to generate dreams and visions and bring them into manifestation, that can impact our DNA and begin to remove the seals and fences that have kept us from accessing these higher harmonic universes that exist in our DNA. Because the junk is actually a treasure, and it's all about sacred union, hierogamic union, alchemical marriage, and integration of polarity. So we're living a love story. And I know I kind of redundantly say one of the best metaphors that I remind myself of that kind of helps me to not get too lost in the terminologies is it's like divorcing a bad partner, the old paradigm, the dark Saturn, and beginning to gain self-mastery, the higher octaves of Saturn and the higher octaves of these planetary energies that are very initiatory. But with any initiation, it's going to come with some level of discomfort. And sometimes that discomfort can confuse us. We might think, oh, my world's falling apart, or this is a misfortune. And we put judgments on it, which doesn't allow us to move through the obstacles, the fences, the gatekeepers. And we just keep looping with these belief systems about how we're perceiving our reality and the different events and experiences that are taking place, looking at through the lens of, is it positive, negative? It's, you know, the dualistic approach. So really blessing adversity and recognizing that we can upgrade in the face of adversity. We can see these challenges as upgrades. Something wants to maybe not be in our life anymore. It doesn't serve us anymore. Maybe an old belief system is dying. Our nervous system feels overwhelmed by the electrical energies coming in, because ultimately we're expanding the spectrum of frequency, the electromagnetic energies, the masculine and feminine, and it's all a part of our greater energy circulation. So as the ether comes in and begins to purify the nucleic acids of our DNA, the earth, fire, air, water elements connected to the nucleic acids begin to purify, which affects our organs and every other system of the body. With the ether, though, it's connected to the mitochondrial DNA and the mother. And we are healing from that damage, that disconnect, that those distortions. And really it's reuniting with this divine blueprint of the true mother, father, and Christ Sophia child. And that's going to help us to deprogram ancestral patterns and things that go so much further back in our history and also into the future, because time is kind of irrelevant. We're just really working energy and spiraling our frequencies upwards. But sometimes that means we have to go into the darker areas. And that should not be judged. We need to bring unconditional love to those spaces to create a rapid and accelerated form of alchemy, so that we're not in these lower energies that make us very vulnerable to illness, disease, entity attachments. We might touch upon it and feel those lower energies, but it's very important that we just breathe, connect with the earth, allow that unconditional love to really permeate through to create transmutation, alchemy, and transformation, so that we can be all that we are capable of being. And any script or any narrative or anything coming in from the outside that doesn't feel right, your intuition just doesn't vibe with it, and it's not a future you want to create, consciously remove it. We get to consciously decide what we're going to give birth to and what we're going to allow in to generate as a physical manifestation. And it's time to stop enabling the dark agendas and allowing it into our space, because they wouldn't have any power unless we gave it to them. They are vampiric and they're parasitic. And so to me, the Great Awakening is dropping those energetic cords and attachments and not being afraid of what's on the other side. Because that's why people sometimes resist. They're like, I can't let go. What if? I'll be in survival. I won't be able to, you know, this earth is abundant. We're moving into the Taurus energy of understanding how we can create abundance and nurturing our relationship with the divine mother, father, divine blueprint, and building community and supporting one another in this process of rehabilitation and healing is really where it's at. So really the purifying energies are so strong, and just take time out and every day to really, really bring it in. And so that's, I guess I'll leave it at that. Anybody else want to go next? Go ahead, Soma.
Thank you. We are in a space of evolution, and our DNA is changing, our hair is changing, our blood is changing, our cells are changing, our bodies are changing, our blood, our hair, our teeth, our skin. We are evolving into a new species of human. And it's a painful birthing process. And we are on the precipice of a great awakening, and we are being forced to choose. We are being forced to either take the reins and get from the passenger seat into the driver's seat, or we'll be slung to the side, for want of better words. I did take some notes earlier. I really felt the Pleiadian energies coming in and wanting me to channel, but I'll just work probably from my notes in kind of a random order. But what we're being shown at the moment is that spiritual community, we really need to come together. It's time now to come away from the illusion and the dream spell that we've been brought into through our school systems that have manipulated and controlled and dumbed us down like nothing ever before. And it starts in the school systems. We are controlled, manipulated, dumbed down. And I didn't have any secondary schooling myself, because the Pleiadians actually put a wall of energy in front of me. And I tried several times to go and enter, and I wasn't allowed. There was just a wall of energy in front of me that the Pleiadians put there. And so I physically couldn't go in. And sometimes I would stand in front of the school gates, which were huge, big black gates, like 30 feet across and 30 feet wide. And they were like a wrought black iron. And I'd just be standing there sometimes looking up at them. And I'd be channeling the Pleiadians. And they said to me word for word that we didn't let you enter the school system because you would have been lost to us. So I always saw that as I didn't remember that I was channeling the Pleiadians at the time, and I saw that for many years. I saw that as a negative thing, that I didn't have any school system, a secondary school education. But now I see it as a positive thing, and I do want to add that from a very young age, so I went to primary school and I didn't go to secondary, but I would stay home in my room and meditate and read. All the esoteric books I could lay my hands on. So 13 is also important. I've been shown that there is 13 star signs, 13 star tribes, 13 astrological star signs, 13 is so important. And we also have 13 strands of DNA, not 12. And it's so important at the moment. There's a lot of aspects going on at play here. It's not just, I mean, it is evolution and with the great awakening of humanity and the great reset, which has been, the words have been hijacked. The great reset is something positive. It is the great awakening. So the great reset, you know, they've hijacked so many things, and that is one of them. So there's many different aspects going on at play here, but nature and grounding and anchoring in the higher vibrations, the higher energies, whoever you're connected to, whether it's Jesus, I think Dr. Sharnael is connection to Jesus as well, or whether it's the Pleiadians, or whether it's Mother Mary, or whether it's whoever it is, we need to anchor in those energies through our bodies and ground them into the earth and stop playing small, step into our heart energy, step into our love frequency, step into our starseed energy, frequency, mission, purpose, and ground all those energies and come together. And the divine sovereignty is crucial. It's time now to stop playing small. Just stop playing small, stop buying into the school system. Take your kids out of school, for God's sake. A school is no place for children. What else do I need to say? We are as unique as our fingerprints. And our energy is as unique as our fingerprints. So we are all individual. We may have similarities between each other. We may be starseeds. We may be on the same mission, but we are as unique as our fingerprints. Our energy is as unique as our fingerprints. I think I'll just leave it. I'll stop there if that's okay.
Can I jump in?
Awesome. Yes.
Hey, okay, so I'm going to piggyback on both of y'all, but I took notes too because you guys are talking so much and I'm like, this is so good. Eternal student over here. But what I was going to say is that this is going back to what one of y'all said about using the energies. I think about the golden eagle, like you guys keep bringing up this guy, light eagle or golden eagle. Anyway,
golden light eagle, yeah.
Golden light eagle, so all of those things. So it's interesting, not interesting, but that is our public, that's my emblem for the for our ministry or service or whatever we do, our purpose is a golden eagle. The thing that's different with a golden eagle to a white eagle will actually eat something dead. A golden eagle will soar anywhere and everywhere and only get its fresh kill. It wants to hear direct. I call it direct TV. And so that's where I think is a big one for everyone to have that opportunity in this season, in this time, to not forget that you have the God GPS right here, not just here, but literally in every cell in every organ, all of our blood, everything. And so I think sometimes we can get so caught up and whirled into the lower energies, but with these new energies coming in, it's like sweeping up some things and pushing some things, and we can use the current to actually rise up, just like an eagle would, to come up higher. And if we're not careful, then we can actually, it could cause us to get sucked in to the lower. And so there's this equal opportunity here for everyone to not only pay attention to when it feels low and just go, no, this is just an opportunity. Well, I wonder what the opportunity is here. I'm keeping it on the high to use this as everything good happens for me, not to me, but everything happens for me, and using that as just the wind beneath your wings, literally, as we soar. Because this is where we're going to hear. This is where we're going to get clarity. This is where we're going to find our tribe, because all of the ones that you want to find, that are going to be valuable to you are going to be these guys, not these guys. And the biofield is transferable. So if you're down here and you're hanging out with, the dead, then guess what? You're going to hear from the dead. And so, and not that all of the dead is bad, but I'm just saying that lower vibrations entities can be picked up when we're coming on this side. So as we use those energies around us and we are aware that, hey, I got this feeling, I'm going to just pay attention to it. I'm not going to protect it or push it down, depress, suppress, oppress, because all that does is put it right back in and hooks us into lower traumas, instead of using it and going, you know what, I'm going to just breathe through this. I'm going to cry through this. I'm going to detox through tears. I'm going to, whatever you need to do, call a friend, whatever, take a walk, get in nature, use those energies to come up. And so you're not only shifting you, but anyone that's ever been attached to you. And that's why sometimes it can feel extra hard, is because you're doing it for many. You guys all are doing so much work, and it's not just for you, because there is no separation. We're doing it for each other. But even on a science level, every child I've ever, not just birthed, but conceived, lives in me still. And so do my grandchildren, because every baby that I ever had carries those eggs from the beginning at 4 months. And so we're carrying our generations. We're also carrying, as you guys were talking about earlier, the ancestral part. We're clearing, we're moving, we're filtering, we're navigating. So one thing I would just say is, don't look to external situations or people or influence for what you need to hear, but go direct, really go direct to know what you personally are supposed to do in this time, because you may be doing things that I'm not supposed to, or none of us are supposed to, but you have an individual carbon copy, special DNA, someone was talking about right now, for now, not just yesterday, not tomorrow, but to stay in the now and do what you're told to do within even sometimes minutes or hours. It's getting that tight where it's like, where am I supposed to go the next 30 minutes? Who am I supposed to call right now? Where am I going? Do I go left or I go right? Like that level. The other thing I would say is, going back to what Laura said, dreams. I would really, if you expect dreams, you'll get them. And with these new energies, there's a lot of opportunity for that. Make sure you're sleeping between 10 to 12, especially, because you'll get double HGH. If you're sleeping from the time to 3 to 5 in the morning, that's where you're going to defrag and let go of all your traumas. So, but you're going to get that pocket of deep delta sleep and that little corner in the middle. So keep a notebook next to your bed, because everything that you focus on, you make room for. So if you go to bed going, I'm excited to see where I'm going to go tonight and what I'm going to learn and who I'm going to see and who I'm going to meet. And, I got my pen right here and I'm ready to write down all the nuggets that I get. And I'm telling you, you will get them, because that's just the law. What you focus on, you make room for. I knew something different changed, because I actually had a pretty profound dream last night. I woke up crying. And this was just going to be the last kind of deal I was going to say. But in the dream, it was a little girl. And she's about 4 or 5 years old. And she actually looked native. But she was crying, and she said, I'm going to cry. She said, I feel alone. And I knew she represented like a lot. And I said to her, I said, honey, do you know God? And I was directed to say that. I wasn't being religious, or actually judging or daring, but I'm just was trying to get her hooked into truth and remember herself. I said, do you know God? And she said, yes. And I said, where is God? And she said, right here. And I said, who is God? And she said, I don't know. And I said, God is love. And I said, so if God is love and God is in you, can you lose God? Can you lose love? You can't lose either of them. You're not alone, and you can never lose love. And so as we remember there's no separation and that we are actually walking in love, and that's the call of who we are on this planet right now, then we can actually be listening for those messages. We can have our own dreams and visions that give us those directions. For me, I woke up crying and I was like, I know that there was probably some sort of mass detox of code that just left. There was some sort of connections going on and out there, in here, whatever that is. I had, peace. I felt relief. There was just a lot in that. And so we can all experience that. Looking at outcome mapping, diet, just paying attention to who you're watching as far as TV, influencers, movies, entertainment, Hollywood. I say go within and just be super wide-eyed about who you're listening to. Remember you. That's me.
Yay, awesome.
Wow, I'd love to go next, Laura, if
Yes, of
there's
course,
time.
Stella.
I'm probably going to have to go in the next 20 minutes or so. I thought we were only on for an hour, but I just want to come in and say, all amazing, everything that's being said here. There's such a gel of all the different unique aspects of who we all are and what we're bringing. And I just kind of wanted to say, the bits that are coming in for us right now, for my team and the beautiful goddesses that I work with every day, is that very recently we just reopened after 2000 years, the halls of Amenti. They are reopened. And that is not really a place. It is an electromagnetic field. It's a huge electromagnetic field, and it's coming up through everyone's feet on the earth. It's a very intense energy to ground. So we're being asked to be in that self-care mode, to really look after ourselves. Don't forget to have fun, because fun and joy and laughter and compassion and grace and playfulness, that's all part of being a human and a divine human. So we kind of have to come into a place of more joy. We're here to express more joy. And let's face it, the ones that have been kind of, hijacking this planet are allergic to the goddess. They're allergic to nature on 432 hertz, and they're allergic to joy, right? So joy and the higher vibrations of our human emotions are so important right now to hold that frequency. And through this, there's a blend of high risk gamma unions that are here on the earth. They're very rare, but they're coming in now. And we've just launched the Divine Sovereign Grid that was launched on the September equinox. And that grid is a beautiful, for those that can see, purple and golden grid that surrounds the earth. And so that was birthed out of a very, very special place, actually, on the island of Ireland. And Ireland is everything right now. It's holding so many frequencies for the ascension process to really take hold on the rest of the planet. So that grid's gone up. Then we have an elemental grid, a brand new elemental grid. And then there's 7, 8 other layers at level 10, which is the 10th dimensional field. We have the eagle grid now, the golden eagle grid. Now, see how everything's tying in here? Isn't it incredible? So and I know Yukia has got codes that she's brought through. I mean, Yukia and I haven't spoken, but I know your work, and I'm sure you'll come on after, Yukia, to talk about that. But I was just looking at the beautiful light codes you're bringing through, and it's literally, the light code emanation of everything that's happening in all the different realms right now. So my main role here is I'm an advocate of divine sovereignty. And I've been at the hands of the narcissistic system. I have been at it. It's had me. It had me in its clutches for quite a while. And so, there's nothing more powerful to a narcissistic system than awakened empaths who've been through that training, right? Who've gone through that kind of abusive relationship, if you like. So, we're all coming with these wisdom codes, because what doesn't break us makes us much stronger, right? So we're coming in with these wisdom codes, and it's like we're divorcing ourselves, as Laura was saying, from a narcissistic abuser. That's what is happening right now. And everyone's getting to see what happens behind closed doors, right? But it's happening en masse to the entire planet. You know, everyone is beginning to see the level of control. So with these grids up and all this new light, you know, coming through the sun, through our real sun and everything, it's like, as my teacher used to say, it's going to be like putting a spotlight on in a dusty room. We're going to get to see all the shit. We're going to get to see all the crap that's there. And then we need to get out our dusters and clean and clean and clean and clean and just, you know, get basically out of that clutch. So after my experience, should we say, of injustice, I would call it, my beloved walked in. He's a walk-in soul. And we literally, the minute we met, we birthed the divine sovereign decree, which is actually a physical decree here in the earth plane. And it's a 3-page document that is incredibly powerful because it is loaded with a thing called spiritual equity. And it's what the controllers, the narcissistic abusers, fear the most, which is to be held accountable and to be held responsible for all the wrongdoings on the planet ever. Now, they've got a heck of a lot of bloody karma to work through, right? And we, as divine warriors of the Mother Ark, are loaded with spiritual equity. And this document anchors it for your soul. It breaks you out of the controlling Roman AI blood Luciferian contract and puts your soul back online to source. And when that happens, you basically are then free to do your mission unimpeded. Because I know a lot of people are being heavily targeted right now. And they don't have to be. They can break the adhesion contracts. Those are unfair contracts that are done upon us through, you know, wizardry, magic, trickery, duping, all the stuff that's going on right now. So basically, it's time to free your soul out of that AI database, especially your DNA. We're talking about DNA here. Our junk DNA is not junk DNA. It's just unpacked frequencies of higher levels of octaves of consciousness and sound resonances that we're all moving into, this higher aspect of ourselves embodied here on the earth. So we've got to get into a position where we're free now to cut all those contracts free. The Luciferian blood contract is the biggest one because that's the one that's done on entry here into the earth. When you come in as a baby, in a baby body, you have a heel prick test, and that is a blood bond that's sent to Rome and you're owned like a slave. So you need to unslave yourself before any of this other stuff can happen, right? It's really super important. I can't stress it enough. And a lot of people are now coming in, they're starting to get it. They're starting to see the level of control that we're living through. And the wise ones, of course, are the ones who've been through it. We've all got a wisdom shield and everyone needs to get that wisdom shield now. It's time. It's time to wake up and see what's happening. That, you know, it's the revelation program, isn't it? Sort of acting itself out right now. So there's lots going on. I mean, huge amounts going on. Every day is like a year in our consciousness. So what we're able to process, what we're able to download and actually process in a day is like what happens in the old year. You know, it's intense. It's totally intense. I know we have this 13 Ficus or whatever, I can't pronounce it. But I do know that tomorrow Scorpio in the old timeline is moving into Mars, which is its home planet. And that is intensity on steroids. That is where we're going. We're going into that massive intensity. So we're going to go through that probably until mid-January. And that's going to feel like we are like coal being turned into diamonds. The pressure, the compression chambers. I mean, there's a lot of light workers and energies and beings that I work with who are creating compression dips all around the different frequency bands to stop this from blowing people apart. You know, it's so intense what we're about to go into tomorrow, and it's going to kick off. So my message really today is don't go out in the streets and kick off en masse, because that's what the other side want. They want martial law. They want to pin you down and vax you and whatever. They want to take away your free will and your power of consent. And I'm just here to say that, you know, if you do not agree to something, the most powerful word you can say is, I do not consent. Because your consent is yours. It can never be taken away from you unless you fall for mandatory agreements or processes or things. I mean, the word mandatory, for instance, is only valid if both parties agree. So kind of like my team are anchoring divine law back on the planet again. It's been a very lawless place for hundreds of thousands of years. And the divine have come back and said, enough is enough. It's time to anchor divine laws and accountability and responsibility for these ones who've been duping everyone's free will and sidestepping free will. Spiritual equity is here. It's a real thing, and it's your greatest defense against impediment for your mission. So I just wanted to say that, and I probably won't stay too much longer. I probably have to go in like 10 minutes, but really good to be here. You're just all amazing goddesses, and so lovely to meet the new faces. And Yukia, I hope to hear your resonance of all of this as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Stellar.
Thank
It's
you.
amazing to be with you today. Yes, so Yukia, please share your thoughts on all this.
So, you know, I did send some codes. I don't know how to share them. If there is difficulty in sharing them, maybe we can share them afterwards. You know, if Jenny, I don't know, do you know how to share them?
I am going to do my best to show these.
If you go to share screen at the bottom, share screen at the bottom.
Oh yes, this is perfect. This is perfect. So, you know, it's been really great to see, you know, each one's perspectives and messages, and I'm really inspired. Where I'm coming from is from an intergalactic energy. You know, what is happening at that level, and what is happening related to the earth plane. So I receive holographic telepathic transmissions through codes. Okay, so these are the codes that have come in for this particular time on Earth, and they anchored in our DNA. They anchored on the planetary soul, and they assist us to match the frequency of our hyperstellar bodies. Now, just visualize that you know, a whole you know, as much as 3 million people, that's the figures that I got, are in hyperstellar chambers, you know, in different original ports of entry into this planet. So, you know, if you are a Pleiadian, your primate planet of origin of entry is the Pleiadians, then that's where you are in your chamber. Okay, and these hyperstellar chambers are chambers of recalibration, of resetting, of reframing. You know, of it's like you are placed in a spaceship of your own spaceship, and you are in a cocoon in the spaceship, and simultaneously you are here in this body. All right, and you are receiving the matching frequency of the upgrades that are happening at that level. You know, at that level, we are all in our chambers, being recalibrated, being reset, being our DNA is being restored. There is a reconfiguration of the physical body in terms of the meridians, in terms of the organ, how the organs function. Everything is being redone. It's a new operating system. It's a massive upgrade that is taking place, and this was prepared. You know, this has been, you know, the initial phases of this were about 3 months ago, that a big amount of light workers and of beings that are doing light action. They might not be in the public eye, they might not be speaking about it, but they are doing good deeds. They are, you know, it's about action. It is not about really, it's not about just speaking, just sharing, but it's about sharing It's about emotion. It's about manifestation. It's about action. It's the three things that are rebooting us into this new operating system. All right. So we are in these cocoons, we are in these chambers, and we are receiving the upgrades. We are reorganizing, our operating system. And at the same time that we're doing that, we are collapsing at DNA level, at cell structure level, and at skeleton level, because that's your Stargate. That's your Stargate to your wholeness, to your divine spark. You are this all. We are being recoded, to match the frequency of our physical vessels, of our physical body on Earth. So we are there, we are here. So, and there's no separation between these two planes. It's just a question of, us visualizing it. So there is, and this reboot that is taking place, this reset that is taking place at these chambers is to prepare as much as 3 million, around 3 million. It's difficult with figures, but because it's so different on the other side in terms of that. But it's quite a massive amount of people, that the holograms are being prepared so that they match the frequency of the physical structure of the body. And it's the fusion of that. So these holograms are going to be inserted. So, if you take a visual, so the holograms, after completion of this reset in this chamber, they're going to be inserted into the physical body, into the physical structure of the body. Okay, and they're going to match the frequency of the holograms that we already have. So there's a fusion of the two holograms, your hyperstellar, we call it the hyperstellar hologram, plus your physical, or the hologram that you have. And this brings in this new code, a new acceleration, a new dynamic, a quantum jump into what we call divine intelligence, which is beyond the mind. It's beyond the words. It's a field where all these holograms, imagine all these holograms on Earth fused into the physical structures of all these light workers and all these as many people as that are awakened as possible. They're bringing in a new way of creating. And it's not even the creations, the birth of creations, it's the creative energy, the pulse of the next step, and the rebirthing and the re-energizing of this planet, So the codes that came in, the first two codes, so if you can just, this one, and these are the codes of divine love, so these are the codes that are being energized in the step hyperstellar chamber. Divine love, to purify, because we talked about purification, and that's, we need to purify, to collapse anything that is in cell memory pertaining to parallel reality that is simultaneously happening at this time, or other timelines that is still in storage and trapped in the control matrix, that is still in inverted matrix, and that needs to be erased and deleted. So in that chamber, this is taking place at the same time as the new upgrades are taking place, the restoration, the reset, and the fusion of that seed atom of unification into divine intelligence, a place of no mind where everything is accessible from that intelligent electromagnetic field, you know. So the first ingredient is divine loves, which is the first set of codes. Can you just, if you can take it to the next one, Jenny? Yes. So this particular one is already the new human, embodied with the energy of that divine intelligence and the divine love. Okay. If the next one. This is the DNA, it's the structure of the DNA. So we're looking at the DNA composition, the new composition of the ignited DNA, the switched on DNA, those dormant strands that are all activated at the completion of this process. This is an organic process. So it is not overnight. Some of the holograms are already here. They're already fused into the human structure, of certain individuals, but not all of them are. So there's a switching on of the sovereign strands of that divine will that we've been talking about, the sovereignty of that. So the encodement of this DNA is very different. That's the seeding, because it's encoded with the seed of one. So that means that anything that is going to be shared, anything that's going to be birthed in the creative process, it is only coming from, it's coming from a unified field. There is no perception of a different field. So the vision is united. So that we call it the seed atom of one, that oneness that we talk about. So we see the world only with the oneness eye. We do the actions only, concentrating on the macro structure, on the what we want, on the highest good of the planet, as guardians, as earth guardians, as intergalactic guardians, that we are here to renew this planet, recreate a new energy. Okay. This one is the sovereign grid, it's the grid of sovereignty, which we carry. So once these holograms fuse into the structure of the physical body, the grid switches on. All right. And this grid has 33 codoms. So 33, so we're talking about the sacred fire, awakening the sacred Christ seed, which was nothing else, than the seed, the seed atom of one. It was nothing else than that. All right. So we're now looking at the plasma, solar plasma activators. We're looking at activating the fire of passion, the fire of joy, the fire of community, all the ecosystems that we are interconnecting with. Here we've got 6 people that are coming with different ecosystems. We are interconnecting with each other, and we're forming the one seed atom, the one, a birthing of something new. As we're putting it out, coming from different perspectives. We bring each piece of the puzzle to this. So it's activating community partnerships, intercreations, and erasing and deleting competition and old paradigms. This is a fire that is awakening the fire code of the heart. So you are awakening, you bringing in the star wisdom, the star, the luminescence, and awakening that passion for empowerment service, yeah, to the whole, based on that perspective, which is, it's not even a perspective because it's beyond the mind. It's that oneness, that one quantum field, that of divine intelligence that we bring in to our new creations, as we all birthing new assignments. And I'm sure each one of you has new assignments and new creations to birth. And then the seal, the last one, is the emerald seal of the heart, which is in the core of Mother Earth, of Mother Ark, Mother Earth. We all have different terminologies, and it is this is the ascension now. So we are in these hyperstellar chambers. We are being prepared, erasing and restoring and repairing and upgrading, and then we are fusing with our own holograms, and we are descending, grounding it, rooting it, and earthing it in Mother Earth's heart, because we are a reflection of Mother Earth. And so that we function as hyperstellar beings, as star beings, from different origins, but we function into, and we anchor that energy into the earth body. And we embody all the codes of divine love, sovereignty, divine will, the sacred fire, and the seed atoms of oneness into the seal of the heart of all there is, which is the earth, because we are earthly beings and we want to be here and we want to share. So this is my being.
Oh, that's amazing. Just everybody, just how it all just connects and how we all express it in unique ways. And I know you talked about that, Stellar. So I don't know if Soma and Jen kind of want to keep sort of the host or the questions or the hosting.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to go, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I'd love to stay on, but I've got other commitments that I have to do. So thank you, beloveds. You're all amazing. So lovely to meet you, Jenni and Sharnael and Yukia. It's the first time we connected, but I know we're working together in the other fields all the time. Thank you for your wonderful explanation of the holographic decoding of what we're going through. It's so important. So I'd love to catch up with all of you individually. And Soma and Laura, love you, beloved goddesses. And I have to bid you good night now. So bless.
Love you, Stella.
I love you.
It's amazing what you shared. Thank you.
Oh, love you guys. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. So I know we're going to have to wrap it up in just a little bit, but I have a thing at the top of the hour. So Jen, do you want to take it away?
Yeah. I'm just so blown away. Like, I just love the energy that we've built in this container, and just how much everything seems to be tying together. And there's just one small thing I just wanted to share, because I didn't even share the symbol of what this monthly moon influence is with. So I'm going to share that just really quick. So this is the symbol of the spiritual law of spiritual protection of family. And, we talked about this Stargate of purity, and I also wanted to just mention just the power of the eclipse as well, because the solar eclipses work with the spiritual law of equality. And in that teaching, it says we must prepare for each eclipse. Petui, the sun, will strip away your old self and give you your new from this time forward. You must prepare for these times, for there will be strong spiritual initiations. Everyone in the solar system will feel how Mother Earth changes through each of these blinkings of my eye. Understand that the light that comes will be of a higher intensity and greater purpose each time. So with that, I just want to say thank you.
Jen, can I just
Yeah.
ask you about the image or the symbol? Because the second I saw it, I saw a wolf, like a wolf in it, in the energy. So how would the wolf, I know what the wolf represents, but how is the wolf connected to that image? Because I see a wolf when I look at that.
That's amazing. I see Mother Earth when I look at this. So yeah, I mean, that's how these codes work, because they just help awaken that remembrance. It can trigger thoughts, can trigger memories, can trigger activations. And so, that's what's so great about when we share together in this kind of way. It's like we're just unlocking keys and clues that help even enhance more of that awakening process. So I don't know, what do you get from that, Soma?
Well, I see a wolf.
I
Can you
do.
show it? Can you show it again, Jenny?
I
Because
see a wolf too,
do you,
with his mouth open.
Yeah, and well, I don't see it with the mouth open, but
Yeah,
I'm
right here.
kind of connecting the wolf with family, because wolf is about family and protection. And
Yep.
the other thing I'm seeing is like Tibetan, or like a Tibetan influence, or Buddhist influence with the symbol, with the main symbol in the center. So there's this, I don't know, just heart energy. And yeah, sorry, Sharnael, do you want to?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I see a mouth. A wolf with a mouth open, like it's. It's not howling. It looks like it's roaring to me. And I personally love wolves. Wolves are like a positive for me. I know people can spin anything. And there probably are bad wolves, but for me, wolves are about family, about loyalty. And loyalty is really important, not only to the collective right now, but most importantly, loyalty to you and your truth and God in you and what your positioning is in this time. Because again, it could look very different from what Jen's going to do to what Soma's going to do to, any of us, versus, and also like all of you guys watching, because there's a bunch of people here that are all brought here for this reason, in this exact meeting, to hear this for some reason. And so, but yeah, wolves are huge for me. It's about the hearing God, knowing God, intuition, and because the mouth is open, to me, that means this is our time to voice our choice. That's how we create. That's how codes can actually be created and or shift. And like Laura was talking about earlier, it may feel like you're going and you're like, wait, did I do this again? But it's not this kind of circle, it's this kind of circle. So we may be coming around, but when we have a different perspective and a new wisdom, like the wisdom shield she was talking about, as we're coming around and we're seeing with a detached, healed perspective, and or getting another piece, and we're just going up and rising up and getting into those new grids for new opportunities. And diet's a big deal, because yes, it's important to meditate and do all the things with frequency, but again, going back to earthing, part of earthing and being on earth is to eat the things of earth, walk on the earth, get nutrients and antioxidants and the plants and the things that God has, somebody created for us to have on the planet. So as we anchor in that will help this spaceship right here holding what's going on. And so that works with all of that. So those are just a couple things that I love that spiritual quality. I know she just popped off, but dude, that was like, whoa, to me. That's exactly what I was getting, but I didn't have the words, but what I saw was like this vortex that's like full from all the positive things, whether it's taking back the pair of socks that someone undercharged you for, and you called on the phone and you're like, it's only 25 cents, but it's the wrong price. And you like drive back and go through the whole hassle of fixing it because of spiritual equity, for doing the thing that you were supposed to do in your GPS over and over and over each time builds that spiritual equity. And then so to me, we're at the season where that thing is just like, and all the things that you've been building and putting into, and now it's time for that justice to come into that tipping point, for doors to be open and divine appointments and partnership and equity and money and abundance, and not really needing to worry about food or gas or all these things that are going on externally, because source God is in us, in our DNA, putting this out and bringing it to us, because that's what our field does. It goes out in radiation and it brings it back to us. So we are our own connection to every resource that is available to us, because we are the creators of those resources. We're just creating them for us through other people and bringing it back to us. And it's this cycle. And as we stay in alignment and keep on staying in truth and building that spiritual equity, oh my God, when the floodgate comes, which we're here, watch the miracles flow through. Watch what happens. Be awake and watch. Pay attention, because it's about to get crazy in the positive if we create that. And I'm all about, let's get on board and let's do that right now. How about it? Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that now.
Let's do it right now.
Yeah.
So Selma, you had suggested us playing that beautiful song. So do you want to we could switch it over to that and just kind of let that filter through the completion of our gathering today?
Yeah, sure. Let
Sorry.
me just go on, Yukia.
Yes, I would like to, in order to activate the field, of the coding, including this code, because this code that you've just showed, it's actually, if you look at the code of sovereignty, the tablet itself, that is exactly the same. The center of the tablet is exactly the same as that. So it's about sovereignty, anchoring that into the earth and anchoring the codes of equanimity that Dr. Sharma was rooting it, earthing it, and then activating it into action, from that divine intelligence. So, when we anchor these codes, and as a group, this is, and the ideal is when you have, more than two, three is ideal, to actually anchor it. And we've got 6, we've got a double 3 at the moment. I would like to do a small activation, if you permit me to do it. All right, just to bring the codes in, and then we can listen to the music. Is there time for that?
Yes, I'm gonna have to turn it off though right before the top of the hour, and I hope to not cut anybody off because it's on
very small
channel, unfortunately. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
So you just take a deep breath, and everyone, and exhale through your heart, and bring the energy to the core of the earth as we are receiving the avatar, of the physical body, now earthed into manifestation action within the codes of divine will, equanimity, sovereignty, divine love, embodied and sealed in the heart.
That was beautiful, Yukia. I have to say that the words were coming to me before you was and as you were saying them.
Thanks.
Did you guys hear my cat singing?
No.
My cat was never, I've never seen her do that in my entire life. She literally starts meowing, meowing, meowing.
The
singing,
animals love
like,
the animals love it.
in the
And
same
almost-
key that you were. She would go to where you were going. It was so weird, like you were singing to her.
Yeah, the animals love it, and sometimes they jump into the chairs, you know, when I have groups online, you know, they really love it. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Done.
What a beautiful way to close.
Can
Anybody
I
have
just,
any
I
final
do-
thoughts or words? Yeah,
I'm sorry, Laura, for interrupting.
go ahead.
I would really love to do this again, and maybe we could all take turns in hosting different ones. But I'd really love to host it at some time. And I just wanted to give a massive, big shout out to Justin for all his work at Conscious Vitality. And everyone get onto Conscious Vitality. It's an amazing platform. And I've already started going there to search for videos instead of YouTube. So I'm sure other people are doing the same thing, but get onto Conscious Vitality. All these censored old social media sites that like, excuse my language, like Fuckbook, were set up by negative agendas to gather information, gather details, gather light workers' information for their details, and to find out who they are, who we are, where they live, details. And they are using negative technology to target people through FB and YT as well. So yeah, get onto Conscious Vitality and other social media, alternative social media sites.
Those links are in the description, and it's going to take maybe a day to get everybody's information and bios and websites. I'll probably keep this video up for a couple days and then move it over to Conscious Vitality, and you can subscribe with the link in the description. But I think I might leave it up for a little longer. It's not like we really said anything that could possibly flag this channel, and I want to make sure as many people as possible hears this. So thank you again, everybody. Any final thoughts from anybody else before I close?
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Bye, guys. Nice
Bye.
Each one of you.